and then, of course, the night class. So you train twice on the mat and then once at the gym, and that would be twice a week, and then the other days would be 2 days.
Okay, you have, like, I could understand if you had a background in some kind of high school or collegiate grappling or judo where it's kind of that grind every day. How does a girl who plays volleyball step into what is essentially a grappling grind for 6 hours a day? I mean, I'm back in it after a period of time. Like, the mental, how do you create the mental toughness to do that kind of grind back then?
Well, I mean, I started out, I was already doing 2 or 3 days with volleyball because I played college volleyball. So I already had that.
So the conditioning didn't
drive.
bother you? The conditioning didn't bother you?
No, not at all.
It was the physical
if
aspect.
anything, no, it wasn't the physical. It was more so like, getting the opportunities and knowing when to shine, and you know what I mean, and making the weight. I never really, like, at my first when I was with my first trainer, I never really learned how to cut weight right. I never did it the right way. I honestly, the first, 10 years of my career, I like literally when I was training, I would just starve myself right before my fight for like 3 days.
Oh.
And I didn't do it right. I didn't know how to do it. I should have taken a nutrition class or, when I was in college or something like that. But I really had no idea.
You didn't even, nobody even hipped you up to the concept of just dropping your water table instead of straight starvation?
I just became desperate.
Oh.
Like I trained really hard, and then, I didn't have the right diet. I never had to diet ever in my life. Playing volleyball, it's all about, you want to look good in the biker shorts, but you don't need to, have a special diet to look good in biker shorts.
If
you're training 3 times a day,
get that.
Yeah, if you're training 3 times a day and, you're a college athlete, you don't really need to be on a special diet.
No, you just keep grazing all day long. I've got a former pole vaulting college athlete with me who is not good to have around while I'm training for the Pan Ams because he can't understand me wanting to take any time off like I have any kind of life. Well, you should be training 3 to 5 times a day. And if you ask my coach, you should be training 3 to 5 times a day. You've only been a JIT for 6 months. And you're going to the Pan Ams, and it's for real. Can't I just go?
Yeah, it's the World Championships, so...
It's look, they're white belts. They're still white belts at the end of the day. What's the worst that can happen to me here?
Well, here's what you have to lose. If you win at white belt, then you're most likely going to get your blue belt. And then you go back. Not
at
the
6
next
months.
year.
There's no way.
You never know.
No
you
way
never know.
he's letting that happen.
Before, as a wrestler, if you were a wrestler in high school or college, the jiu-jitsu comes very natural.
Okay, my professor listens to this, and I will answer for him right now on his behalf. He would say, yes, Lee is very good at holding.
Oh, you're lay and pray.
I am. Look, and I learned dirty boxing too. There's nothing better than being on top and grinding it down. Look, I'm ready to go see the decision. Let's go. Let's see what happens honestly, at the end of the round.
I'm still a purple belt, so I have yet to win a purple belt championship. I won Pan Am's as white, I won Pan Am's as blue, but I've never won at purple. And honestly, if you win Pan Am's or purple nowadays, and even in my division, is very competitive now.
Oh yeah.
But now when I was a white or a blue.
Well, we have fight to win now. Now that you've had a baby and you've had time, you have to take a look at something like Fight to Win and go, look, they're only fighting 1 round, and they let purple belts do it, and they like women. You could still get your competitive juices going and keep it pretty. Does it stick in the back of your? I know I'm jumping ahead, but is there a part of you that's trying to find a way around it where maybe you could go to a Pan Am or a Fight to Win?
Oh, yeah, totally. I think that, if I want to get into law enforcement, I think jiu-jitsu is obviously, something that you can do until you're retired.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've rolled with 60, 70-year-old people, and they're still in really good shape. They're mobile. They're healthy. They're happy. you know, and I look at them and I'm like, hey, I know this might not mean that much to you, but I really hope that when I'm 60 or 70 years old that I'm still on the mat. You know, I mean, that would at least mean that I'm still active, and I would, even though they probably.
It hurts more.
I'm sure it does.
Wait, I'm going to tell you the truth. At 48, it hurts more. It hurts a lot. Like, I looked the other day, I was checking after a shower, the amount of bruises, they don't go away. The bruises don't go as fast. You start to get weird aches and pains in elbows and parts and pieces. And when you train for like a Pan Am, even as a white belt, I'm being trained as hard as they can physically train me. Look, you're talking about taking a 48-year-old rocket ship and push it back towards Earth as fast and as hot as you can. Some of the things are going to fall. Like, my ear is almost a joke.
But you also got to understand that. Are you gonna do adult or are you gonna do masters?
I'm gonna do masters too. I'm not crazy enough to try adult. I'd get my ass handed to me at adult white belt. At least, as far up as I can go is masters 2, and that means the youngest guy is going to be 36 years old. But that's still like a light year from where 10 years younger than me. I'm going to go way out on a limb and say your cardio might be a little bit better. Might be. Your skill level will be questionable, but your cardio is going to be better. You're just going to be 10 years is a huge difference on a human body.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, hey, you gotta be a Tom Brady and a.
Oh yeah, you just got to go in there with the attitude of, yeah, I have a game plan.
Get a super duper strict diet, and that guy doesn't even eat tomatoes because they create inflammation. I mean, you know, when you're trying to be healthy, when I'm trying to be healthy, I'll eat a tomato, but I didn't know that they create inflammation. I had no idea. He named all of my favorite vegetables, and those are the vegetables that he stays away from.
No, here's the thing. Like, my idea of being healthy just means I'm not eating pizza this week. That's all it is for me. Okay, so at the height of your career, for if you guys listening are wondering why I'm having Elaina on, first of all, I'll give a little background because we're getting to the height of her real fighting career when she's the kick-ass. You've got belts and championships, and you're you. Mm-hmm. I wanted to do a little this will be around when your son grows up because that's the way the internet works, and he will come back and find this story. And I always wanted him to hear a completely documented story from a neutral third party telling your story so it was done correctly, because you gave me the gift of BJJ. It was your comment of don't do another stupid fight, go put on a gi and go see what happens next. So I did.
Really?
Yeah. I was talking about doing another fight, and I asked your feedback. You said you competed at too high a level. You're not going to fight at that same level again. Go put on a gi. That was your advice. I'm in a gi because of you, straight up, and it was probably a throwaway that you didn't even think twice about. But you had made the comment.
I'm really glad I inspired you. It makes me, you totally made my day.
You have no idea. My bad ear that now inflames to 2 cc's full of fluid on a weekly basis is your fault. 2 cc's.
You got to roll the tape up like you're rolling it up, and you got to mold it to the shape of your ear. I mean, do you want a butthole for an ear or
okay,
not?
So my professor is a multi-time champion as well, right? Sammy Garcia. It's a Tashara Garcia. And I always plug it. So he's looking at it, and I came in today I'm doing private one-on-ones. This is how determined I am for the Pan Ams. I'm doing private stuff, okay? I want an absolute game plan when I walk in. And he looks at my ear and he goes, oh, you deflated it. He goes, why don't you have magnets on it? He goes, are you just into the pain? Do you like sticking a needle in it? And I had to think about it for a minute, and I thought, it's kind of cool, actually, to pull all that fluid out. I mean, it's made some great Facebook videos for those. By the way, follow me on Facebook, and you can watch me drain my ear at Lee Honish. Enjoy. So at the height of your career, by the way, how did you escape getting cauliflower ear?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Does your husband have it?
I do have a little bit. I wore a Brute, so whenever I would start rolling with people, mostly whenever I started rolling with wrestlers, that's when my cauliflower ear started, revving up, and then I would put my Brute on. And right. Even though the Brute got in the way, blah, 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 I might get choked a little bit easier because I'm wearing a Brute because of the way that it goes under your neck and your chin. But you know what? I mean, if that's the disadvantage, then so be it. I mean, at least I don't have buttholes for ears. And I do have a little bit of cauliflower. There is a little bit of like deformation, but I can hear, and I still look like a lady. And
you've already got your man. You're done. You've got a brood of a man, no less. Does he have cauliflower ears?
Oh yeah, for sure. He definitely has cauliflower ear.
That's hilarious. Okay, so you go back to Northern California, which now you're talking about 2010, 2009, 2010.
Yeah, I came back. Yeah, I came back in 2010, and
this is you at your peak form. This is the ultimate version of you, right?
Well, I wouldn't say that. I would say when I came back to California, I was a little lost. I was trying to figure out where to go because I didn't know. My old trainer, Kung Lee, he was totally in Hollywood and doing movies, and he wasn't really training anymore.
He lost his mind. And I like Kung a lot, but boy, did he lose his mind.
Yeah, I honestly, I didn't want to train. If I wasn't going to train with him, I didn't want to train with anybody else at his school because I just wanted to train with him and, a couple of my old teammates. But, he wasn't really training anymore because he was doing movies. So I got to tell you, at that time I came back to California, I was a little lost. And so I met up with my old BJJ friend, Lana Stefanik, and she's like, hey, why don't you come roll with me at Caesars in Pleasant Hill? And then I met Caesar, and he was like super friendly, and hey, come to my gym. You're welcome anytime. And then from there, I ran into Kirian. His school, CSA, is an affiliate, I guess, is a Gracie Fighter affiliate. And so that's how I met or got reacquainted with Kirian. And then Kirian was like, hey, I can turn your career around, just give me a chance. And, I was probably like one of the best decisions I ever made. He turned my career around. My record was negative when I came to his school. It was 2-3. And, I won a bunch of fights in a row. And, he got me in the best shape of my life, got me a six-pack. I mean, I did all the hard work, but I couldn't have done it without his motivation.
So through this period of time, for those that don't know, I'll name drop. So let's go through them. So you fought Gina Carano in Strikeforce. You lose via unanimous decision. You
2 minute rounds.
You fought Miesha Tate, right? Oh, yeah. She lost the fight via unanimous decision. Sorry. You fought Miesha Tate. What were your did you realize that those were going to be the marketed superstars that they were?
Well, it just sucks because it's like my 2 fights that I did have. Well, actually, I had more than 2 fights with Strikeforce, but the 2 fights that got blown up the most were the 2 that I lost. So Even my family would give me a hard time. I'm like, hey, you want to come to my fight? It's going to be at this such and such casino. And they're like, are you going to win? And I was like, oh man, I know that it's kind of a downer when your family says that to you, but also kind of ignites and motivates you. But it sucks because those are two of my bigger fights, and now they're big names and stuff. And I think Miesha's she's commentating now, and Gina's in the movies, and Gina's actually she's at CSA when she is in California. Obviously she's with her boyfriend Kevin Ross, and he trains at CSA, which is where I still train at. So I do see Gina from time to time. The last time I was at the gym, and whenever I can, I hand my baby off to pretty much anybody who will hold him. And I was like, here you go. But yeah, there's a lot of moms at the CSA gym, including Alexis. And so that's nice to know that when I do bring him there, he will have a play date.
So your final fight was to be scheduled against Julia Budd in Invicta before you had the concussion? And that was the last one on the books?
Actually, my last one was in 2012.
Okay, well, the actual...
Sanchez. Oh, I think you're right.
You're right. You were scheduled to fight Budd, and then you got a concussion while you were training.
Yeah, I was training against somebody from another school that was